Hi, my name is Randy Russ with Ashland Industries. I had a customer recently just call me about the Ashland 2500 SS skid steer scraper, and I kind of realized I didn't have a lot of the new improvements we made on the 2500 SS on our website or even videos online. So this is kind of just put together to kind of show some of the customers upon asking some of the new changes we made just recently on this machine. Now, what we have with this is a machine we brought back from the territory. It has two things that we haven't implemented onto it, and I'll just cover them quickly. We have a laser mass option that basically has a pad that bolts onto those machines. But on the machine now, for the brand new production machine, we'll have a bracket that's already welded onto. There'd be like a little cutout of that catwalk with a flat plate with 4 holes to bolt that mast on. Now the mast is still option, but we have the brackets welded as standard equipment. The other thing is we have basically, because it has to have support arms to kind of grab that mast, if you do have that option, there'd be holes already designed into the backside of this bowl, as well as number of holes on the back end, so you can add a headache rack, a see-through headache rack. That's the two things that this machine does not have. But let me tell you about some of the changes we made recently on the 2500 SS skid steer scraper. So let's go to the front. We used to have on our caster forks, we had a tapered roller bearing, a larger bottom roller bearing and a little narrower top bearing. And they're heavy payloads, and not payloads, but heavy areas where we got a lot of material where it's kind of built up in front of the tires or right up in stockpiles. Sometimes we'd see stress and strain put between the bearings, and we'd sometimes bend that spindle between the two bearings. Now we have a larger diameter kingpin with bronze bushings set between there. So it's a much larger connecting pin on that system, as well as the surface mounting plate. Here we got a big support area, just like a kind of a fifth wheel plate would be on a truck. Support that area of that rotation very much over a larger area than we had previously, than we had with that other bearing set. The other major change we made on the apron, this is the roller that's basically has been standard, that rolls the apron open up when you start to load the scraper. What we used to have is a flatbar plate. It was like a steel plate that came off and just scraped onto that flat bar welded on the sidewalls. We took that same roller that's rolling the apron open on here, and we're putting the roller on here to roll the apron open when you start to dumping it. So previously we'd see a flat bar kind of bent, just sit there and scratch through that roller system on. Not a big deal, but really major improvements on there. The number one thing we want to try to do is the Adjoint frame. We made that longer. So the Adjoint frame basically ties the left cylinder with the right cylinder opposite side. So what we have basically is you run these two cylinders, they're running in a parallel situation. It rotates this thing and basically moves the bucket into a cut and carry dump position. What would happen is, especially in a loaded situation with these track loaders, we could get a lot of debris, a lot of high piles of payloads basically built up within the scraper bowl itself. And previously this pipe was about a foot lower, so it kind of ran down about in this area here. Well, sometimes when you're trying to dump that material, it actually go through the heat payload, and it would sometimes bend this pipe kind of a bow back and forth. So we made this a lot longer, get that much more clearance as far as when we start dumping it, we don't have that pipe running into that heat payload. The other thing that we added to this machine as well is a spring-loaded hose stand. It gets the hoses up higher so you don't get caught between the quick attach plate and the skids here when you roll back all the way. So that is the major feature component changes into the machines that we've done from previously. Now, some of the older machines did not have the leveling blade built in with the machine. Let me point out what that is. The leveling blade is simply underneath that Ashland decal. You can kind of see this is a sideboard. It's like a big box scraper that runs from the back of the machine up towards the front, made kind of underneath the pivot. And that's basically a sideboard, and there's a mold board that runs all the way through here and to the opposite side. There's another sideboard to that side of it. So when you come time to dump this material, the bucket rotates, dump it, dirt falling out. As you use the tilt cylinders, your bucket dump cylinders, roll it out to probably about 50%. You'll see that leveling blade is on the ground at that point. The thing when you're operating the machine, you just want to look right underneath that sideboard, kind of right in that distance there, about a half inch off the ground. That'll tell you when you're operating the machine how far I got to roll out to get that leveling blade to be on the ground. So the best thing when you start dumping material and you want to use the leveling blade, roll out more than you think you need, and then roll back as you want to let more material all be released underneath the leveling blade. So that's really about all the machine changes we made on the 2500 SS. If you have any questions, give me a call. My cell phone, 715-292-4622. Thanks.